John Kennedy broke new ground by going live on television.
Comment for us on the press in general, as you see it from the presidency. Perhaps it's treatment of your administration, treatment of the issues of the day.
Well, I'm reading more and enjoying it less, and so on.
Television changed the ground rules.
Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President.
The public could now size up presidents in real time.
What is it about the television coverage of you in these past weeks and months that has so aroused your anger?
Don't get the impression that you arouse my anger. You see,
I have that impression.
You see, one can only be angry with those he respects.
If North Korea attacked South Korea, would you use nuclear weapons?
But presidents also realized that primetime news conferences gave them a bigger audience without the press filters.
President, you've said several times recently that the accusation that bothers you most is that you don't care about the poor and disadvantaged.
Well, this is the thing, Bill, that we've been trying to correct.
Primetime exposure meant, though, that presidents had to prepare. Former Clinton Press Secretary Dee Dee Myers.
We used to do these kind of murder boards where we would throw what we thought were relevant questions at the president. He would have like a little mini explosion and give a horrible answer, but we knew then that it was out of his system.
Questions had become more adversarial.
Scott and John, go ahead.
Suggested at the beginning of this news conference, sir, that you've answered the questions about Monica Lewinsky. But respectfully, there has been no explanation for her dozens of visits to the White House after her employment here ended.
Well, first of all, you have more information than you did when I said that. And secondly, I have nothing else to say.
And even though most questions were predictable, presidents could still be caught off guard.
After 9/11, what would your biggest mistake be, would you say, and what lessons have you learned from it?
I wish you'd have given me this written question ahead of time so I could plan for it.
And sometimes they just don't answer.
Norah O'Donnell, how are you?
Today is Super Tuesday, so I wonder if you might weigh in on some of your potential Republican opponents. Mitt Romney has criticized you on Iran and said hope is not a foreign policy. He also said that you are America's most feckless president since Carter. What would you like to say to Mr. Romney?
Good luck tonight.
But today, in the age of Twitter, YouTube, and Google Hangouts, presidents no longer have to rely as much on news conferences.
It's certainly becoming less important, one of many tools in the president's toolbox, not the most important tool. And it's also one that he controls less, and so will be less willing to use unless he has a pretty good reason for doing that.